I'm live now. Thank you guys. I am live.
Live, live, live on my live.
There is the link to the chat. We just have to use your Cash App and your PayPal.
Cash App is
Or just see how many people we get in here right now. Hold
the PayPal is Trisha Deal Parks,
on. Okay.
and the Cash App is I think it was Trisha Lynn Parks.
Yeah.
God. PS4.
Yeah.
I left a towel in there for you.
Okay. What is it, Trisha? What's your
What? For the
for your
for the email?
no for your
What?
YouTube?
My YouTube?
Oh, hold on.
You got so many YouTube. I got so many YouTubes. I wrote it down. I wrote it. Passwords down in one of these things. Here, plug this up to the purple one. You
Oh,
Trisha Lynn Parks is the one.
I'm trying to put it on my channel. Just go and plug it in here. Just plug that into it.
Put two. Put two. Oh, I got the plug for it.
Hey, let's. Oh, I'm on. Hello, whoever that is. I appreciate it, man. Y'all coming in. Appreciate it. I'm trying to get my wife's channel real quick, so you guys could come and subscribe to her. We appreciate it, whoever that is. If you guys want to come up, man, there's a link to come up. I appreciate it, but you got to show your face to come up. Shout out to the two that are in the chat. I appreciate you guys, man. I'm on my wife's channel, man. We're needing help to stay in this room, man. If whoever could help, man, we appreciate y'all very much, so very much, man. I don't know what to do no more. We appreciate you guys, man. Big homie, what's up, man? Hey, you want to come up, bro? Come on up, man. There's a link in the chat, man. If you want to come up, bro. Okay, big homie. Appreciate it, man.
What?
He said he'll be right back. Shout out to the two that are in the chat, man. Appreciate y'all, man. This is my podcast, YouTube. Podcast on YouTube.
Street View Podcast is part of the Dallas Public Library's Homeless Engagement Initiative, dedicated to increasing community awareness of issues related to homelessness. How do you want to see it? What do you want to do? Perception starts with selection. The same streets you walk on, they carry their own view. This is Street View.
If y'all will, fellas, we gonna pray. Father God of heaven, we come now in the name of Jesus Christ of
Here's the
Nazareth,
link, man. If
God.
anybody wants to come up,
We
man.
come with the authority that you have bestowed upon us, God, with the responsibility,
Yeah,
God,
that's what you
of
do.
being lights in this world. We come with humility flowing from us, God, and asking for your understanding, your wisdom, and your knowledge.
Question with
We sit
Christian. What's
amongst
up? How
each
you
other
doing, hon?
as
Thank
not
you for
only
coming over. Appreciate
friends
it,
and
man.
colleagues, but as brothers and sisters.
Did Gemma sent you over? Did Gemma sent you over? Thank you, Gemma. Crafting with Kristen. Sorry. Crafting with Kristen. So how you doing, Kristen? Man, I could have up to 10 people like us on here.
We ask that you would ordain this today. We have Mr. Wayne Walker, pastor and executive director over Our Calling, aka the Homeless Man's Cafe. We also have a Mr. Jason Parks in the studio. We also have our co-host, Jasmine Africawala, and our sound engineer, the captain, Mr. Ryan. We're gonna
You
get
did
off into
okay.
the show
Good to
in the
hear
right
that.
way.
Thank you.
A lot of people may not understand this, but there's a homeless culture. Our Calling, I refer to it as a homeless cafe. I'll let Mr. Wayne kind of break down what Our Calling.
This is my inspiration to start my Homeless Are Humans 2 podcast show. I need to get that started, actually. I need a way to make money, man. I just want to let people know, man, if y'all can help us with donations, it's not, I hate doing it like this. Whatever y'all can help us with to keep us in this room, we appreciate it. Captain and Christian, thank you for coming. Appreciate it very much. I just want to let everybody know, thank you for supporting us again. I'm back, guys, man. Our phones are stupid. No, their phones are not stupid. They're good phones. This is a podcast that I'm in for the Dallas Public Library that they do. This was years ago, man. This was from 6 years ago. This was 6 years ago. When Sin Takes Over is the name of the podcast. I want to let everybody know that if they can help, we appreciate it. so very much. Oh my God.
All over the country that drive in to come see us or spend some time to see what we do to reproduce it.
I hate being like this, man.
What?
I'm not the type of person to be asking like this.
No.
No, I'm not. So, but I did it for you. I'm doing it for you. You did it for you. I don't remember this phone. This is the phone that.
It's mine. There was that one from Michael, remember?
Yeah. Granny D is on right now. Come on, man. So how is everybody today? I hope everybody's doing well. Hope all is well with everybody in the weather. Needed prayers for the 133 car pileup and 6 people in that car crash passed away from the accident in Dallas on the highway.
Tank, that it was not made to use, but we were made to have that relationship with God.
I agree. We have many different portions or parts of ourselves. There's a physical, there's a mental, there's an emotional, but there is a spiritual character to who we are as people. It's interesting because you've taken what is spiritual in a sense and you've embodied it and made it a physical thing in the sense that you guys are actually going out. That's kind of weird in a sense to the Christian community, the body, because we have a set of just thoughts of what we're going to do, how we're going to act. But you guys are actually going out and doing something and preaching the gospel at the same time. The effect you guys are having, how does that affect you as far as your peers who are of the same nature, of the same body of Christ, but yet aren't doers, but only hearers of this word?
Well, we're not here to convict anybody. Jesus said that I didn't come to condemn the world, but to save the world. And so we're not there to condemn anybody for what they're doing. Everybody, sees the problem and wants to help in their own way. Some of those ways can be absolutely destructive. I'll be honest, I tell everybody that comes to see us, please don't give any money to a guy on the street asking for it. Most of those guys that we know we're helping to enable their destructive lifestyle. If they need the help, we want to help them. Jesus said, when I was hungry, you fed me, not you tossed $2 out your window to appease your conscience. And we want to really meet those physical needs. And with the body of Christ, our role, our mission statement is to lead homeless folks to Christ and make disciples on the street. That's not only discipling you, but also the volunteers that show up. From some church up in North Dallas that thinks the best thing they can do is take the picture of a homeless guy and hang it up on their wall.
Yeah, one person left. I knew it was going to happen.
Kind of break down what our calling is.
Well, for today, listening to you.
Homeless guy. Because when I see those guys, more than the bridge has. I'm not saying to get to the people that need it. Because I heard you say you went from Irving.
This is me. This is me now in the podcast.
But I'm going back further. And I loaded 2006 all the way up until not knowing where I would
My family lives down here. On and off homeless for about 8 years.
This is me coming onto the podcast now.
And he has a unique story, one that will give us an understanding of what it is to be homeless. So, Jason, if you would, could you give a brief summary of all your experiences up until this point for the last 8 years?
It's been really, really rough because when I first come down here in 2005, I didn't know why I was here in Dallas at all. Just up to a year and a half ago, I found that reason, what that reason was. I prayed every night, asked God, why am I here in Dallas? It's not because of my family. It wasn't because of my family. That's the excuse I was using. My family lives down here. My family. I got kicked out of my brother's house. I only stayed with my brother for 4 months, from December to April. April 1st, my brother kicked me out of 2006. That's when I became homeless, was in April of 2006. From going from Irving to the Salvation Army, not knowing where I was going or what I was, the people I was going to meet, what was going to happen, I had to deal with and go through what the Salvation Army wanted. At first, I didn't want to. Then they kicked me out, and then I learned the hard way. And from there, 2006 all the way up until 2008 when the bridge opened, that's where I was at until the bridge opened. Man, I grew up in Chicago. It was rough because gangs, I was in gangs, and 12 years ago, I shouldn't even be here. I should be dead. Because somebody stood over me with a gun and unloaded 2 clips on me and didn't hit me that one time. It was in the winter time, and I know this is part of my testimony, but I don't really like telling it right now because I don't feel it's the right time for me to. That's the reason why I only tell certain people of really what happened 12 years ago. I just tell them from the time I've been down here. But I'm going back further because you asked the question, and it was gang related. I shouldn't be here. I know what God looks like. I know what Jesus looks like. Yeah. So when anybody tells me it's not who he looks like, I kind of step and turn around and try to walk away from him.
Okay, that's awesome. That's awesome. So on the streets of Dallas, because I heard you say you went from Irving to Dallas. On the streets of Dallas, what's been your experience as far as homelessness in and outside?
This was 6 years.
Just at the bridge, I mean, they were helping, but it was taking a long time for the services to get to the people that needed it. It really was. It was taking, when they first opened, it was taking up to 2 years for people to get housing. It would take a total of 2 years for people to get housing that started when it first opened.
When I was there, the estimated wait time was about 7 months. This was about maybe a year and a half to 2 years ago. 7 months. That was the target goal, was for you to be there, get moved upstairs, and to be moved out. Have you experienced any other shelters though?
Salvation Army. That's why I came before the bridge opened, was the Salvation Army. And
Thank you guys for the 2 shot in the chat.
I'm
Shout
not
out to you
saying
guys.
the housing thing, but with the shelter.
This was me on a podcast show 6 years ago, talking about my experiences being homeless. And this is the podcast show that encouraged me and inspired me to start my own for the homeless. And this is me now talking about, and you'll hear the host talking and asking me questions and me answering honestly about his questions that he's asked me.
It was more of a shelter than the bridge.
And just so listeners understand, right now, you're not doing the shelter thing. That's just not it.
I mean, no, it's not. I have the stuff to stay warm in the cold, and that's why I'd rather be at, because I get the help from the shelters during the day if I'm not at work. Now, I will use the services during the day if I'm not at work. If I'm at work, I get home too late to use any of it. What are you working? I work construction, and I do flyers when I'm not doing construction. So
Flyers?
Yeah. Okay. I get picked up in front of the bridge every day to do the flyers.
Let's say I'm the guy that's sitting up, listening to my 33 and a third records in my apartment. And I decide, well, let's listen to internet radio. I want to hear, what's it like to be a homeless guy? Because when I see those guys, all those guys do is ask me for money. And doesn't seem like, why don't one of them get a job? Why don't they stop asking me for money? Because I'm not the only one. If you had enough courage to ask me. So I want you to look at it as if you're talking to that guy. And you tell that guy not only why it's hard out here to be you, but
what he needs to know to
Well,
recognize
either
that
way,
you are an equal
I'm
member
going out.
of this society.